Welcome back to Hearts of Iron. It is June 25th, 1940, and I've been thinking for the past week or so, because I try to get some gameplay in every week for a couple hours, that I'm just gonna pull back over here and let Italy fight on its own, because I've been looking around and they are kind of just getting destroyed everywhere, as you can see. That is armor versus divisions with no supports, no piercing, nothing, and probably very bad leaders as well, if I would guess. This airbase is already gone. I've been pushed back to Benghazi down here with my last remaining aircraft. Of course, down here in Ethiopia, they are getting routed. So I want to say this is already over. What also happened, and I picked this up just by, glancing at the game when I loaded in, is that they declared war on Greece. I don't think this should be happening this early. I think it is scripted. You take Albania, they go for Greece. They're probably not going to win this. What's going to happen here is just like historically, Germany came down here to rescue them. I'll probably do that as well at some point. I just don't know when, because they have a fort here in the capital of Albania. Yugoslavia, I don't know where it is on the triangle. Yugoslavia is drifting towards Axis, actually. I could just get transit rights, probably, and bail them out, but the problem is Bulgaria will join my faction at some point, and they will just completely overrun Bulgaria, and then Romania, and then it's just a big mess. So yeah, it is smart to just go through Yugoslavia when you can, so I'll probably do that at some point. Now, what I actually wanted to do here is not just take Yugoslavia for myself. What I wanted to do was over here. I wanted to just push through this part where no one has cores besides Yugoslavia. I was gonna let Italy and Hungary divide it up, get their own stuff, get their own cores. As you can see, there's a core here. There's cores over here, and then go all the way down to Greece. I don't really care about this country that much, to be honest with you. There is some stuff there, but it's nothing worth mentioning. Looks like Italy will be occupied. Hungary has access through Yugoslavia, so maybe they could do something about that. They are in the war with Greece, so I don't know if they'll actually march down here and occupy the border and then push, but yeah, I'm gonna have to bail them out. What else is going on here? Not that much, actually. Everything is garrisoned up. It's not really strong at all. I've been using my excess forces to just suppress big value tiles over here. You've got a lot of stuff over here, and even over here. What is this? Well, that's a bad example, but one of these has like a lot of metal. Yeah, it's like 20 energy. Colmar down here has some, I don't know, kind of bad example, but I need to just occupy this up and get max IC. Also worth mentioning, I guess, since I'm thinking about it, is I have a lot of resources, so I might at some point go back to the IC armament minister over here and maybe change up some of these collaborations, because I am again at officer ratio cap. So I could, at the same time, I'm kind of behind on technologies, just because, well, I was preparing for 1941 technology update. It's happening a little bit sooner, so. And one last thing, I guess, before I, start playing the game, is I'll mention my order battle over here. Not that complicated. I just have one core per tile. Very simple. And these are all infantries. And then down here, I'm going to start putting some armor, because, again, the terrain map mode shows that what you want to do when you do start this war is rush through the Ukraine all the way down as far as you could go, really, to the far east. And in the north, it's not real. There are big things worth mentioning over here. For example, they have horses, which is a supply throughput bonus. Very important. As well as they have fur up here. But if Finland joins the Axis and they get this back, they get it to you immediately. This one is not a big deal. It's just trickle back for casualties. Not that important. This is black soil. It's not that useful as Germany. I guess it is if you're playing a prolonged war, which I hope I don't get into, but it's definitely possible, because I've only done this campaign a couple times throughout like 10, 15 years of playing this game, and sometimes there are problems that you just don't foresee. So that is a lot of talking. Let's see. Yes, I'm going to just strat redeploy Well, I have some guys in combat, but yeah, this is nasty for them because they can't pierce me. These are just dumb divisions. They can't... I promise you, I could just smash this and it would be very quick. But I kind of just want to see what happens because like you, I just like to be entertained, right? And this is entertaining to see the AI face the AI, even though it's kind of silly. I see some armor in here. It's not that... Okay, what is that? They have... Is that my cast? Oh, okay. Yeah, that is my cast, actually. So I'll turn that off. I'll pull back here, and I'll skip forward. 2 weeks into the withdrawal, just to see what happens, and to have some fun. And it looks like the UK is absolutely destroying Italy. I didn't think it would be this ridiculous, but I'm not even sure what they're trying to do here. They are, looks like, defending ports. This is some good stuff, but yeah, they're getting kind of big over here, so I have stuff over here. I'm also trying to not commit too much. What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to defend the Alps to Milan, Milan to Venice, because there's a nice river here. Now, this is plains, but the problem here actually is that I'm not getting my own commanders in the battle to command everything. Like, for example, this guy is skill 5. This guy is skill 1. It's not looking good, so my own armor is not even getting full effect of what it should be. I have an SS division down here. I'm trying to move them both into Milan. I have 2 down here. I might have a 3rd, but it might be in this corps. Okay, yeah, it's in this corps. This is actually my best division, probably in the game. So good. Yeah, I want them in the urban city, obviously, for the 10 millionth time, because they get urban bonuses. Milan is definitely worth defending. I don't want to give that to the UK, but I'll let them go down south like that. One more thing I was thinking about is reasons why you want Italy on your side the whole game is obviously this one, Pact of Steel, but there's also the fact that they are a great trading partner of mine. At least I thought they were. I'm exporting 50 energy to them. I'm also importing like 9 rare materials. I thought it was more than that, but it's actually not. Interesting. One good thing about that, having them on your side, is you get to trade with them, but also if they just capitulate and you occupy them instead, it could be better, and I just prefer doing things myself. I don't really like having allies in Hearts of Iron 3 or 4. They're kind of unpredictable and annoying in the bad sense. Looks like the UK is absolutely dominating, and I might have to be careful myself over here. Now that is interesting. We have Greece landing over here. I have navs someplace that I've been just trying to bomb the crap out of anything that does that. It's not effective at all. What that means is Italy is completely useless over here as anticipated, so at some point I am going to have to strike down through Yugoslavia and save them, because I don't know if I want to see Greece land in northern Italy. That's just kind of ridiculous. It looks like Italy... I'm not sure what they're even trying to do here. It could be this is completely messing them up, which it is potentially, right? So what I was planning on doing is moving these TAC bombers to Albania, and then just bombing their front lines, letting Italy attack into weakened units. I'm going to try that. I'll pull off both of them, actually. Why not? So I'll go like that, and I'll go like that. All of this is now in Allied hands, and they're going to, I guess, probe me just a bit over here. They've got, let's see, they have some bombers and some dogfighting going on over here. This is just woods, and I have 8 armor. They can't pierce me, so there's pretty much no way that they're gonna beat me here. In Milan, I've got my SS, so that's probably not gonna fall either. There's a lot of stuff here, and what's gonna happen, it looks like, is they're gonna at some point capitulate Italy, and when that happens, I'll sweep down. I'll take it all for myself. I could probably liberate them, I think. I'm not sure if Axis can liberate their own allies. I think the allies and communists can, but I'll see what I could do if they do that. Alright, well, let's just say they really, really want to bomb me over here, so I might have to swap out some aircraft for some fresh ones in Vienna. I've been getting them healed up a bit, so I'm gonna have to put these on reserve. And then again, well, once this battle ends... Where did I put my other aircraft? Are they down here now? Okay. Yep. Yep, let's go like that. Now I will make a proper wing of 3 like this, so the strong ones could stay, the weak ones could rest. What I like to do here is I like to just target the whole front line, only intercept there. It's these tiles right here, so they should go back in battle pretty much immediately. Yeah, this is kind of nasty. I wonder if they're gonna try to strap bomb like Vienna from here, or Prague, or any of these other high IC tiles. I'll have to keep an eye on that, but for now, I don't think so. The first good news in a long time for my allies. I wasn't even bombing this tile, I was tack bombing this one right here, because this is plains, and I figured it'd be easier for them to go this way and also get another port for more supplies if they need it. It looks like they're actually crossing, which is a very, very good sign. So now I'm going to swap my attack bombers around probably the hill. I don't know, I'll just pick all of them and I'll just see what happens. Pick the best one by default. It's looking like Italy is as useless as everyone thought they would be. They can't even hold a tile where I completely bombed out the enemy's organization for them. It's not looking good for them. They will capitulate. Their progress is going to start jumping pretty quickly. Rome is, like, right here. So, and if I wanted to, I could just walk at them along and give them that as well, so they could surrender faster. I think what I'm trying to do here at this point is to occupy Italy, occupy Yugoslavia myself, unfortunately, and then Greece as well before the Soviet Union, because if the date comes... Oh crap, it's getting kind of close. I'm probably gonna go out to Yugoslavia now then. Now what I did was I moved 2 infantry corps from the Soviet border in the Ukraine down here. I'll strike from Hungary and I'll give them whatever I can. Then I'll attack from this side with more armor and just try to be faster and outflank them south, because Italy and my allies are pretty useless. The new plan is I'm going to declare war on Yugoslavia. There's a couple things that you can do here. The first thing you can do, and the historical thing that the AI always does, is they just create Croatia out of nothing. There are core, or actually there's no cores yet, but the problem with making Croatia is that it starts with no technologies and no units. It's very silly and pointless to do. So I'm just going to puppet them, I think, because Italy's not going to survive regardless, so I don't care about giving it its cores. And the Hungarian cores over here don't even really have much of anything at all. Yeah, you have like a little bit of cores with IC. It's not really worth it. So I think the smart thing to do is to just puppet them. What it's going to do is... The whole purpose is just so I don't have to occupy it myself, because if I'm going to have to put troops on the Soviet border and then worry about Italy, whatever happens down here, I just don't have enough forces to deal with everything. So I'm just going to puppet them like this with the war goal. What that implies is that when I defeat them, any units that survive are going to become part of the Axis, which is nice. I'll be doing that here. Can someone explain to me why, when I declare war on Yugoslavia, Italy just decides to start using its units someplace? It doesn't care about its own country at all, it just cares about this. As you can see, things are going quite well in this war. Yugoslavia was not mobilized, kind of disappointing, but I guess that's supposed to mimic the reality of probably how it went a long time ago, so they're getting kind of rolled over, and Italy is actually doing stuff all of a sudden out of nowhere. Greece, I guess it's trying to... Greece is pulling its troops upwards like this, but they are just not able to outperform Italy, so this is going pretty well. Something interesting to report over here is Finland wants to join the faction. There isn't a reason to invite them to the faction. What might just end up happening is the Soviet Union will probably redeploy from my border to their border, but I may as well do it and let Finland get shish kebabbed immediately when this war starts, just to free up Soviet troops later on. So I'll just invite them, and I'll play, I guess, historically, even though I don't plan on defending them at all. Things are going so well now that my allies are being useful, and I will call Finland into the war now that they are actually in my faction, so I'll do that. This is getting slower for the allies, which is nice. I'm trying to help out with some air power at this point, because I realize that if I let them capitulate now, then I'm not sure what happens over here. I might just lose all the progress, and that is quite annoying. The goal is to quickly get Belgrade, as well as whatever I have over here to help them out on defense, just for a little bit. Yeah, I want to capitulate Greece. What I could do is also puppet them, but I don't know if I want to do that. I guess I'll just conquer them and let the war goal stay as occupied. We'll see what happens here. I think I could call them in immediately, and they still have some units. I destroyed probably too many of their units, to be honest. That's alright. They are now part of the Axis, and at this point, Italy could capitulate because I will have an easy route into Greece. I need to watch Bulgaria as well. At some point, I can invite them to the faction. Maybe Romania, but they might hate me too much for what I just did. Nah, it's just a neutrality, but I could start influencing them, I guess, now. I already am, I guess. Am I? I don't think so. They're lying. Okay, so they're doing it on their own, which is even better. Ouch. Ouch. Yep, there goes my best admiral, and just like that, he's gone. These should be the final battles of Greece. Greece has been overrun pretty badly because I sent in all my CAS and tax here, and they've just been bombing non-stop. At the same time, I also swapped in one of my transport planes to Belgrade over here, so I'm supplying this entire front from Belgrade from my puppets supplies. And the good news here is Italy is really slowing them down. I'm not exactly sure how. If they could hold this, you know, like, it's almost worth moving troops to defend Naples behind the river. The thing is, like, I'm trying to free troops up for next year, right? I'm not trying to stay here forever, so let's see what happens in Greece in the meantime. That isn't exactly what happened because they just moved their capital to Crete. Quite frustrating. They only have a couple divisions left over here. It's like, what? They have 4 divisions left that could actually fight. Italy can't hold anything over here. I don't know what to say. They are pretty useless. I've even tried a lot to help them out. I could try some more, but the problem is the Allies have so much aircraft in this area, there's almost no point to try. I need to just figure out what is going to happen here, because what seems like what will happen is I'm going to leave, Italy will capitulate, and then this goes back to Greece or the UK, I'm not quite sure, so it's getting nasty. I suppose I'll end the episode here. Things are going to get close on the timeline front because I'm going to declare war at the historical date. I also need to figure out how to defend and occupy this. If Italy can't, I'll be back soon.